Now, bad news to UDA and of course to Kenya, because UDA's aspirant wa Malava, seat ameanguka amekufa. He has collapsed actually. He was attending some family gathering issue, and of course the guy just fell down, and of course he died. Andanje was actually using this UDA party to actually clinch the Malava seat. Remember, Malava was previously, occupied your kit in one guy called Malulu, who of course died in February, and now kuna hot contest between DCP and UDA. And in fact, remember, the main reason as to why Gachagua is actually coming back to Kenya is because he wants to, of course, contest this seat, Malava, and of course some other by-elections, that of course are yet to be done in Kenya. Now, tension is so very high, and of course people are like, is this guy assassinated? Because in politics, the game is always dirty. Remember, just 3 months ago, Omondo Vere was killed, na kesi imepotea hivyo. And of course, right now we are seeing kuna hot contest in Kasipul. And now, the same thing was supposed to happen in, of course, Malava. But now, the bad news here, Andanje dying, the DCP aspirant, is actually shocking Kenyans. The people are like, what is happening in our Kenya's political arena? Bona things are just shaky. Wani ni kubaya, watu wanakufa tu out of nowhere. I mean, it is just, of course, death is natural. So I can't sit here and tell you that when a politician dies, someone amemuua. No, I can't say that. Of course, people die. That's the rule of nature. But you see, when a politician dies at the time of an election, of course, it draws some circle, and people are like, is this guy murdered? Remember, Omondo Were didn't die a natural death. Omondo Were was actually shot in the head. Kwa kifua, of course, nakakufa. And of course, we saw some drama, people being arrested, but eventually the case is called, and in fact, even the person who was accused, the main suspect, is now at Kasipul Vine. I'm not saying that it was the person who did that, but he was accused, and people believe that maybe he ended up Omondo Were, the part of kiti, lakini there's no evidence to pin him for your crime. So Andanje amekufa, amekolapse amekufa, and of course people are like, kwani is this assassination? I even saw some comments, someone saying that kwani Gachagua ana power aje paka ameamua kumaliza Ruto hata kabla afike. I don't think it is. Of course, we have to wait for the investigation to be done so as to, of course, to make some conclusion. But remember, these by-elections are very strong. Why? Because one of the reasons why Ruto rose to power is because Ruto, at the time Uhuru was the president, at the time there was this handshake, and Ruto was actually the opposition leader when he was still the DP. Ruto made sure that ameshinda by elections, and he won by elections. I remember him somewhere in Mombasa. He won by elections, and that made Kenyans believe in him because he was running across the country saying that kama ameshinda by election, ameshinda the handshake. How about the real uchanguzi? And of course, people bought that idea, and of course, that's why I believe some of them gave him the votes. So this by-election is very important to Gachagua because Gachagua knows that if he wins this by-election, he will have the chance, he will be actually confirming to Kenyans that DCP is powerful and DCP is actually going to take over. And this will even influence or persuade those people who are still undecided to support DCP. That's the real issue. So see, this by-election in Malava is so important. In fact, you're even seeing the Prime CS Mudavadi going to Malava, in fact, crashing Malala, telling the Luo people not to vote for DCP candidate because they are afraid that if DCP candidate wins this Malava seat, of course, it will simply means that DCP is stronger than UDA, and that's something that Ruto is trying to avoid. And you see, this is something that's making Gachagua fly from America to Kenya just to campaign for his candidate as a way of trying to popularize his party in Kenya. That's what we see now. Iki for Andanje is somehow questionable. People are like, what is happening? Is it a plot by the government to actually blame Gachagua? Is it someone somewhere amemaliza DCP, amemaliza UDA? Of course, amekolapsa amekufa. So in politics, it's all about assassination. Poisoning iko. Of course, even hearing that right now, DCP, Kalonzo Malala said that Ruto is planning to poison Gachagua. I'm alleged evil. Of course, there's no proof, so I can't sit here and say that it's true. But I know that in politics, things happen weirdly. I mean, things just happen and things that are actually questionable. So the death of Andanje has shocked Kenya, and it has happened at the time whereby by election it was so high. I mean, the campaign it was high, and UDA wants the candidate to win. So, do you think that this death is actually assassination? Ama do you think that this death is something that has come natural? But why at this time? When this Andanje guy didn't know that ni mgonjwa, because collapsing and nakukufa, it means that your body was actually having some ailment. I mean, did this guy, know that he was sick? And if he was sick, why couldn't he just go to the hospital at Ibiwe? So, is it a dirty game being played here? I mean, people like, what is happening in our Kenya's political arena? Because on one of them died, he made evil, okay? And because we have been seeing lists of people dying. So, in politics, I would say here that if you want to stay alive for long, avoid politics. Because hapo kuna vita. I even saw in Nairobi, someone, eliminating his opponent's kids. Aliua watoto wa mwenzake, an MCA. Just killed watoto wa mwenzake as a way of trying to kuumiza the opponent. You see, people are just thirsty for power. So, for power, anyone can do anything. So, tell me, do you think Andanje died a natural death? Do you think, there's someone somewhere who is having a plot, and who is that person who plotted this? And what was the motive? Is it the government side or the Gachagua side? Yeah, and of course, the city of Malava is actually very important to the point whereby if Gachagua wins that seat, he will have, of course, amassed all Luhya votes. If Ruto wins that seat, Ruto will say that Gachagua is useless and Gachagua cannot win any election. Kama ameshindwa na ubunge, how about the president? That is the propaganda that Ruto will be having. So the question is, what has happened to Andanje? Of course, I can't say that he has been killed by someone. I don't have any evidence, but tell me what to think. Do you think that this guy has been assassinated? Thank you.
If you love politics, then Dr. Politica is your cup of tea. The place for minds that think. If you are watching this from anywhere else, search the name, hit subscribe, and stay sharp with us. Thank you for making Dr. Politica your home for fearless political truth. Every view, every like, every share fuels the fire behind the hours of research, filming, and editing we pour into each episode. By showing up consistently, you don't just support a channel, you empower a voice. In a world ruled by headlines, spin, and power games, you remind us that real people still care about real facts. We are here to inform, inspire, and ignite critical thinking, not just for today, but for generations to come. You are not just a viewer, you are the reason this platform exists.